Will be allowed to continue competing in Maine. That's according to the Maine Principals Association. And a law professor in New England says Maine has several ways to challenge President Trump's executive order if schools with those athletes lose funding. The MPA says it will continue to follow the state's law when it comes to gender identity. Maine has a Human Rights Act, and a law professor at UNH says there are several ways the president's order, titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports, can be challenged in court.
First prong might be this executive order doesn't have the force of law, or it doesn't have the force of law in this state. The second prong might be that it runs afoul of Title IX, insofar as the argument would be that Title IX, requires schools to allow transgender girls to participate in girls' sports.
He says it could also be argued the order violates the 14th Amendment. 2 trans student athletes in New Hampshire are suing the Trump administration over his order. The same students won their lawsuit against New Hampshire over the summer for the state's trans ban.
The woman who exposed all of this, Maine State Rep Laurel Libby. Madam Representative, the Maine Department of Education's defying President Trump's executive order to keep men or boys out of girls' or women's sports. So what needs to happen now to protect girls' sports in Maine?
Yeah, absolutely. Just shortly after President Trump issued his executive order, the Maine Principals Association came out and said that they were going to continue to allow boys to compete in girls' sports here in Maine. I can't imagine that anything is going to change either the MPA's minds or Democrat legislators on this policy, except for President Trump's administration taking action and defunding Maine schools until they comply.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is a complete smackdown of Donald Trump. A complete just spanking, a humiliation for the Maine governor, and you'll love to actually see it. Now, what we have here is, everybody is angry about the trans individuals, right? And as they should, because, they're kind of ruining everything for society, etc. And they're not very happy over the trans ban that's happening over in from Donald Trump's executive orders. So the governor has decided to not do that and allow it to go through, and still allow boys to compete against girls. And unfortunately, we have biological males here, really just biological males here. Really causing issues, right? Where they took over a swim team and, kind of just crushed it. So without further ado, here's the clip of this insanity.
Facing some praise and criticism, too, for posting a photo that she says shows a transgender student on the podium for a girls' sport. The I-Team's Stephanie Grinley is following this developing story from the live desk. And Steph, that lawmaker just posted again about this today.
Yeah, Marissa, she did, and she's doubling down despite calls to take down the post in the first place. Republican Representative Laurel Libby of Auburn posted on Facebook this week a photo of a student, unblurred, who she named. She also called the student athlete, quote, unremarkable in boys' sports. Now, we have blurred the student's face to protect the student's identity. Libby says the student placed 5th in a boys' pole vault 2 years ago, but placed 1st in a girls' championship event this week. Libby's post has received thousands of shares and tens of thousands of comments, some calling the situation unfair to girls. Others calling out Libby for naming the student and sharing the face. Libby appeared on Fox News this week to talk about the situation. In her post, she pointed to a New York Times Ipsos poll that showed 79% of Americans don't think people born as male should play in female sports.
Mainers are independent-minded, and they are commonsensical, and this defies common sense.
Now, House Speaker Ryan Fecteau gave a statement to the Press-Herald saying, quote, all kids, including transgender students, deserve better than to be used as political fodder for internet bullies. They shouldn't have to worry about a politician sharing images of them online without their consent, end quote. Now, we did reach out to Representative Libby for comment today and have not heard back. She posted about the situation again today and has not taken her previous post down. Live in the newsroom, Stephanie Grinley. Greg, back to you.
All right, Stephanie, thanks.
Yeah, so what we have here is that, they wanted, the governor to pull down this picture because, they didn't want to show this person with this, with the picture of the man being competing in sports. Well, unlike most people, I'm a man of culture. I'm a man of reality. I'm a man of showing the hard truth. And unfortunately for you, you insane people, is that I like showing these things. And this is the individual here that was that's been competing in women's sports. So he was in the man's team, got fifth place because he's a failure as a man. And then he decided to compete in the women's sports and got first place because, he is a failure as a man. He is terrible. And of course, I will not blur out these two individuals should have their faces blurred here, obviously, because they should not be any part of this, and the women should had their faces blurred out. But this guy here, no, we expose the freaks, the two-timers, the people that want to take advantage of women and, obviously do all that stuff. Yeah, we're here to expose that insanity. And of course, we have this here where from the person saying the Democrat Maine Governor Janet Mills says she won't comply with federal law that says men cannot compete in women's sports. Why are Democrats so intent on raising women and allowing men to beat up women? Should I come to Maine? By the way, Trump has a beautiful and an amazing response to this. It's absolutely incredible, and we're going to be here for it.
Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect. So just to end this administration, I understand Maine.
Yeah, so Trump absolutely humiliated her, roasted her out into oblivion. And he is correct. He is 100% correct. And this is something that people need to start understanding here. Or at least the Democrats need to start understanding. The far left need to start understanding this. We have this here that says nearly 80% of Americans don't want men playing women's sports. So you are catering to a very small minority of people that you want men being in sports. That's what you're doing here. And when you do this, you're not going to win anything. And Trump is not wrong. If you are going to start catering to the very small minority of people that want to have these men in sports, you're not going to win. Majority of the people, overwhelmingly, do not want men playing in women's sports, and it's the people are singing true. So you won't be a governor again because one, you'll get all the funding removed from Trump, and that will make the people angry because you did a stupid stance that you never should have died on the hill on. And then two, you will not win again because the people do not agree with your insanity. This is one reason why the Democrats are failing and crumbling under everything, right? It's because the Democrats think that if we go with this insane move, right? If we go with this insanity play where we go with the far left, we want to allow illegal immigrants to come into our country and murder our children, rape our women, and stuff like that. And then you want biological men to compete in women's sports and enter women's bathrooms. You're not going to do very well, right? Especially when you're going to be agreeing with people that you don't want to give people $5,000 of tax refunds. And also, all these things that you are doing, Democrats, is cratering your own party into the ground. And so what it is, and you only have yourselves to blame. You have nobody else to blame but yourselves. And you love to see it. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
Burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your